Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa, and I'm 29 years old, currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia. However, I'm planning to relocate soon. I've recently ended a challenging marriage that lasted a year and a half thanks to the support of my father and the intervention of the police. I acknowledge my role in this. Looking back, I might have avoided the situation by declining the proposal. Typically shy and reserved, I have always preferred solitude, spending most of my time immersed in the digital realm on my computer. I occasionally visit pubs for a drink, but I'm usually uneasy around strangers and hesitant to make new friends out of concern for my safety. My life took a significant turn when I was 7, as my mother passed away due to an untreated heart condition. From then on, my father, who has been a mariner since he was 25, took over my upbringing. His voyages meant long periods away from home, though he always stayed connected with us through letters and calls. After my mother's death, he returned to comfort me, finding me in tears next to her coffin. He embraced me and reassured me, saying, "It's okay now, my little girl. Daddy's here. Everything will be okay." Despite his comforting words, I continued to cry, clinging tightly to him. That night, I saw him alone on the couch, looking profoundly saddened and whispering to himself, before he buried his face in a cushion and wept. It was only the second time I'd seen him cry, the first being when I was injured as a child. Perhaps he felt responsible for the hardships we faced. He took a 3-month break from sailing, and then, before leaving again, he entrusted me to my grandmother's care. He told me to be good to her and help her, promising to return soon and expressing his eagerness to taste the dishes I would learn to make from her. This chapter of my life, marked by both loss and resilience, has shaped me into who I am today, and I look forward to what the future holds. But for now, I must be off. My car is waiting. "Take care of yourself, honey," my dad said as he departed. I knew he would be back in about 8 months. During his travels, he often sent me gifts and souvenirs from the various places he visited. Mostly, I stayed indoors, helping my grandmother with household tasks. I was never much for playing with other kids, and as I grew up, I found solace and comfort within the confines of my room. When it was time for college, my father sent me back to our old house. I found the transition difficult. I didn't enjoy college life or interacting with others in person. The internet, however, gave me a sense of confidence that the real world never could. It was exhilarating and comforting to engage with people I might never meet face to face. Online, I could express my thoughts and feelings without the fear of being judged for my shyness. Through the screen, I connected with friends who understood me deeply. I encountered people from around the globe, each with unique backgrounds and stories. Learning about their lives was captivating, and it highlighted how similar we all are despite our apparent differences. The internet bridges continents, creating connections in ways that were unimaginable before. It was in this vast network that I met Stephen, who told me he was a content creator. Our friendship began with messages and soon progressed to video calls. To preserve my anonymity, I often wore a Batman mask, while he covered his face with a scarf and wore a beanie. "Hi, Lisa. It's great to finally see you," Stephen greeted during one of our calls. "Hello, Stephen. Nice to meet you." "Well, virtually," I replied. "So, how are you feeling today? How many people have you chatted with?" he asked. "I'm okay, just a bit nervous, to be honest," I admitted. "That's normal, but don't worry, I'm not scary, just as awkward as you," he reassured me. "This is our first real chat, so tell me more about yourself, Stephen. How did you get into this online platform?" I really enjoy meeting new people and seeing things from different perspectives. I spend a lot of time at home, so this online community seemed like a great way to connect with others. "How about you?" he explained. "I'm pretty much your typical introvert, so I struggled a bit with socializing in person. Online platforms give me a sense of ease and allow me to be more open," I shared. "I get it. Virtual connections can be surprisingly meaningful. I'm glad we found each other, he said. As we talked, we discovered shared interests and exchanged stories about our lives. The conversation flowed smoothly, and I gradually felt more at ease. It's funny how deeply you can connect with someone you've never met in person. I never thought I'd find it so easy to connect with someone online. Thanks for making this effortless. The feeling's mutual, Lisa. You're great to talk to, and I'm glad we connected. If you ever want to chat again, just give me a shout. I'm usually online playing Mario, Stephen mentioned. Oh, I forgot to ask, do you play games? He asked. Actually, no. I mostly blog and browse Reddit. There's so much interesting stuff there. I feel like I learn more from reading other people's stories than I do from real-life examples, I replied. Get that? Sometimes real life can be a drag. It's cool to meet new people. Honestly, I trust my online friends more than the ones I know in person. The best part about online interactions is that there's no pressure to keep in touch constantly. You can take it or leave it. It's totally up to you, he explained. As Stephen and I continued our conversations, we developed a genuine bond despite only knowing each other online. Our shared understanding and open-mindedness made us feel like friends beyond just the digital connection. I'm not sure where this connection will lead, but one thing is certain. My online experiences have profoundly shaped who I am. As I navigate through life, I'll always carry with me the lessons I've learned from my digital encounters. Meanwhile, my dad remains quite cautious about my online activities. If he knew I was making friends online, he'd be really upset. The last time we talked, he gave me a serious talk over dinner. How are your studies, Dove? He asked. I've graduated, Dad. Well, you wouldn't know. You weren't there, I replied a bit sharply. Oh, Lisa, that's not good. I know I was really busy, and I'm sorry for missing out. I even emailed you saying I'd be there for your birthday. Tomorrow's my pumpkin's birthday. Stop calling me names, Dad. I'm not a little kid anymore. To me, you'll always be my little dove. Anyway, what are your plans for the future? Are you thinking of working? He inquired. I'm not sure yet, I admitted. What do you mean you're not sure? What are your friends up to these days? I don't have any friends, Dad. Listen, I didn't send you to your mom's place so you could just stay home and not interact with the world. There's so much out there, so many people you'll miss out on if you don't get out there, honey. That's the problem, Dad. I don't know how. This exchange highlighted the gap between his expectations and my reality, emphasizing the contrast between our worlds. But I'll try. I mean, I do have friends, but they're all online. Online, Lisa? That's not the best way to make friends, my dad replied. Oh, come on, I sighed. All right, fine. How about we go out today? Maybe do a little shopping, just you and me. I haven't been out much lately, but I don't know if I can. Of course you can, Lisa. You have to try. This isn't a healthy way to live. I understand. Ever since Janice passed away, Why are you bringing Mom into this? What are you trying to say? I interrupted, feeling my anger rising. I'm not trying to say anything, honey. I'm just saying we need to find ways to move forward from past hurts. We both loved your mom, but we need to learn to move on. I felt a surge of anger. I slammed the table and stood up, not wanting to finish my food. I took my plate to the sink. Lisa, please don't give your father that attitude. I'm just trying to help you. Why can't you see that? He pleaded. You don't know everything about me, so don't try to, I shot back, my frustration boiling over. I stormed off to find Solace online, hoping Stephen would understand. Stephen seemed like a nice person, understanding and willing to listen. It felt good to have someone to talk to, especially about the frustrations I've been dealing with. As an introvert, I always found comfort at home with my computer screen as my companion. While others went out into the world, I preferred the safety of my virtual haven, where I could be myself without the pressure of face-to-face interactions. Lately, my dad has been pushing me more and more, especially since I told him how much time I spent online. He just didn't understand. He thought staying in my room all the time would hold me back from growing and learning. He wanted me to step out of my comfort zone, and that scared me. I vented my frustrations to Stephen, hoping he'd understand what I was going through. "Hey, Lisa, do you want to meet up? We're both introverts, so we can go somewhere quiet with not too many people. I know a place like that," Stephen suggested. "I'm not sure. It all feels so sudden. I need some time to think things over," I expressed, feeling a mix of emotions. "I just wanted to let you know what's been going on with me." "Okay, no problem at all. I can wait. Whenever you're ready, you're always welcome to visit. Here's my address," Stephen responded, his voice filled with patience and kindness. "Why are you being so nice to me? We're just strangers, aren't we?" I asked, puzzled by his genuine warmth. "It's because I like you," he admitted simply. "Really? You like me?" I was taken aback. "Yeah, I know it sounds a bit odd, but I do want to get to know you better. And if you ever feel the same, you know where to find me," he assured me with sincerity. Deciding to meet Stephen was a monumental step for me, venturing out into the real world. As I stood outside his house, my heart pounded with a mix of excitement and nervousness. It was hard to believe that after a month of chatting online, I was about to meet him in person. He lived surprisingly close, just a 15-minute drive away. Taking a deep breath to gather my courage, I knocked on his weathered wooden door. It creaked open, and there was Stephen, greeting me with a warm smile that instantly eased my nerves. He had a certain charm about him. His home wasn't lavish, but it radiated a cozy, genuine atmosphere that felt welcoming. As I stepped inside, I couldn't help but notice the small details that revealed so much about his personality. The shelves packed with well-thumbed classics, a stack of board games, and a neatly arranged computer setup. "Welcome to my humble abode. Your presence graces my domain, fair master," Stephen joked, throwing in some playful gamer lingo. "Some of that gaming talk might go over my head, but thank you. This place is cozy. Do you live alone here?" I inquired, looking around. "Nope, fair princess. I live with my mom. She has the ground floor, and I've got the top floor all to myself. Come, I'll give you a tour," he offered, his voice cheerful. We spent the day talking, laughing, and deepening our understanding of each other. Meeting in person added a new layer to our connection, enhancing the bond that had begun in the digital realm. Our conversations flowed effortlessly, revealing shared interests and providing insights into our lives that had previously remained hidden behind screens. Getting to know Stephen beyond the digital screen deepened my appreciation for him. He was as kind and genuine in person as he had been online, and his quirky sense of humor endeared him to me even more. As the sun began to set, Stephen suggested we take a walk outside. I agreed without hesitation, and as we strolled through the nearby park, our conversation flowed seamlessly. My initial nervousness dissolved, and being with him felt like a natural progression from our online chats, but with an added depth of closeness. "Wait, so you didn't celebrate your birthday?" Stephen asked, surprised. "No, I didn't feel like it, especially after the argument with my dad," I confessed. "I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure he'll come around. He's your dad, after all," Stephen tried to console me. I sighed. I made a mistake. I trusted him too much. His words seemed sweet like honey, but I didn't realize I was just another one of his games. When we started dating, he became overly possessive and jealous. He always wanted me to talk to him, either on the phone or online. If I tried to chat with anyone else, he'd get angry. He kept saying he loved me and wanted to protect me. I believed him. Why did I believe him? As our relationship grew stronger, it became apparent that his mother didn't approve of me. It was difficult knowing she felt that way about someone she hadn't even met. Her disapproval weighed heavily on me, and I couldn't fathom why she couldn't see the love we shared. Stephen's close relationship with his mom was evident. He often referred to himself as a mama's boy. While I respected their bond, it also made me feel like an outsider. The strangest part was that his mother seemed to want us to get married. She knew I didn't have anyone else since my dad wasn't around, and perhaps she thought I'd be useful to her. Not every parent is perfect. Just look at your dad. At least my mom cares about me, Stephen would say, which hurt me. Please, Stephen, when you talk like that, it hurts. But you know I'm the one who loves you, right? Your dad doesn't love you like I do. So stop complaining about my life and try to compromise, he would add. We ended up having a secret wedding. Stephen didn't want me to invite my dad, claiming he'd never approve. He managed to make me believe that my dad didn't care about me. I reluctantly agreed to marry him in a quiet ceremony. Deep down, I knew it was a gamble, but I felt overpowered by my circumstances. You might think I was weak, but my environment had shaped who I had become, and I found myself blaming my inability to stand up for myself. After a few months of marriage, I began to witness a side of his mother I had never expected, one that was filled with cruelty and malice. She seemed to take pleasure in making me miserable, sowing seeds of doubt within me, and leaving me feeling broken and helpless. It started with minor comments and passive-aggressive jabs that slowly chipped away at my self-esteem. I tried to dismiss it, hoping her disapproval would eventually fade, but it only intensified into relentless emotional torment. Is this supposed to be food? Do you think my son can eat this mess? Go and make it again, you fool. Why is this place so dirty? Are you blind? What a sloppy girl. Get up, lazy girl. Take care of the trash now. Honestly, have your parents taught you nothing? Her harsh words felt like daggers, wounding me deeply. She critiqued every action, diminished my achievements, and manipulated situations to make me feel unworthy of Stephen's love. Meanwhile, my husband remained detached, confined to his room, absorbed in his music or video games. I felt as though I was trapped in a relentless nightmare, unable to break free from her oppressive hold. Internally, I was seething with anger at myself for being so vulnerable and foolish. How could I have allowed myself to be treated this way? I missed my dad terribly, regretting our arguments and how I had pushed him away. In a moment of anger, I yelled at him to leave me alone, and with a heavy heart, he did just that a few days after my birthday. Now, feeling utterly stuck, I believed I deserved this miserable existence. One day, feeling sick and feverish, I curled up on the sofa, hoping a nap would alleviate my discomfort. Just as I was drifting off, I was abruptly awakened by a cold splash of water. It was Margaret, my mother-in-law, glaring at me with disdain. "What the hell are you doing sleeping on our couch? Did you get the groceries like I told you to?" she snapped. I didn't respond, too weak to engage. "I see. You want your old mother-in-law to do all the dirty work while you just lay around, you devil," she hissed, then slapped me and began shouting for Stephen. I couldn't take it anymore. I snapped. "I'm not doing anything for you or your useless son. I've had enough of your cruelty. Find someone else to torment. I can't and I won't take it anymore." I received not an ounce of respect from this family, and I no longer cared. As I was about to leave, something blunt struck the back of my head and I blacked out. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in a dimly lit room, my head throbbing with pain and struggling to stand up. Where was I? I could hear faint sounds approaching, growing louder as they neared. Crawling towards the noise, I found a metal door with a small window. It opened, revealing Stephen's grinning face. "Is my wife scared of the dark?" he taunted. "What is this, Stephen? Please let me out. This isn't funny," I pleaded. "Shut up. This is what you get for disrespecting my mother. Now I'll make sure you never see the light of day again," he sneered, sealing my fate with his words. "Stephen, please, I'm begging you. I'll do whatever you ask. Just don't leave me here in the dark," I pleaded, desperation flooding my voice. "Hold your horses, Buttercup. If you start behaving, maybe I'll consider letting you out. For now, this will be your hideaway. You don't like going out much anyway. Besides, who's out there for you? Your mom's gone, and your dad doesn't care. You were just a forgotten soul until my house gave you a fresh start, which you've utterly squandered, Stephen replied coldly. I can fix this. I didn't mean to upset you. Please, I hate the dark, I cried out again, hoping he would relent. Daddy's girl, huh? Why don't you call him then? Maybe he'll magically appear and save his precious princess, he mocked before abruptly shutting the small window, leaving me alone. Sitting in the cold, dark basement, I was consumed by fear and anger. How had my life spiraled to this? I had only stood up to my mother-in-law's cruel treatment, and now I was paying a steep price for seeking respect. As I searched my pockets in despair, my fingers touched the shards of my broken phone. All hope seemed lost until I noticed the faint blinking light on the screen. There was still a chance. With trembling hands and tears streaming down my face, I managed to dial my father's number. My voice quivered as I explained my dire situation, clinging to the slim hope that he could rescue me from this nightmare. 3 days later, just as despair was about to consume me completely, I heard a car pull up outside. My heart pounded as I listened to footsteps approach. The door swung open, and there stood my father, tall and resolute, his presence bringing a wave of relief and disbelief. I couldn't believe he had dropped everything to come and save me. Accompanied by the police, he had come just in time. Stephen and Margaret were arrested immediately. Despite their attempts to deny their actions, the evidence was clear. "What have you done to my daughter? You psychopaths! You have no idea what awaits you in court," my father roared. "We're sorry. We never meant any harm. I was going to let her go today, I swear," Stephen stammered, his excuses ringing hollow. "And who are you to decide my daughter's fate? You're just a pathetic lowlife," my father spat back as he led me out of the dark basement. As I stepped out into the light, a new sense of strength and determination filled me. The ordeal had been harrowing, but it showed me that with my father's unwavering support, I could overcome anything. From that moment on, I promised myself to stand up for myself and never let anyone silence me again. Determined to leave the past behind, I decided to move to California with my dad, seeking a safer place and a fresh start. Georgia no longer felt like home. I also vowed to be more cautious with online acquaintances. A hard lesson learned indeed.